don't rap against Kendrick
ever.
Yeah.
You didn't sit home with the fucking BlackBerry or the bum composition book and write acronyms for your own fucking name.
Kendrick Lamar has been a nightmare for his rap rivals long before he ever proved himself in battle. And now, after his brutal takedown of Drake, the entire hip-hop world is still buzzing. He didn't just win, he embarrassed Drake so badly that people are literally turning Kendrick's name into an acronym used to warn others not to step out of line. That's the kind of fear he's putting in the game right now. But here's the real question. What makes Kendrick so untouchable in the first place? Drake's loss just reminded everyone of what insiders already knew. Very few dare to test him because it usually ends in disaster. His reputation isn't built on hype alone. It's built on years of respect, intimidation, and proof that when he strikes, it's surgical and devastating. There are layers to what makes Kendrick so dangerous, and every one of them has been on display for the world to see. From the streets to the top of the charts, everybody knows this man is not the one to play with. But before Kendrick Lamar became the most feared rapper in this new age, he was just a regular kid from Compton, California, a place where dreams and nightmares live on the same block.
10 years in the making, baby. Top dog himself. What's happening, baby? You know what I mean? Most importantly, to all my little homeboys and homegirls back in the city, you looking at me on TV right now. I came up in that same county building. Food stamps, welfare, Section 8. Check it out. You looking at me on TV right now, this is living proof that you could do anything you put your mind to, you feel me? Real talk.
Picture this. A young Kendrick, skinny, quiet, always watching, always listening, growing up in a city that raised legends but also swallowed plenty of them whole. Compton wasn't just his home, it was the fire that forged him. His family didn't come from privilege, they were hustling just to make ends meet. His father was caught up in the street life, and his mother moved them out west, hoping for something better, but trouble was always close by. Kendrick grew up surrounded by gang culture, sirens, and constant reminders of how fragile life could be. Imagine walking to school while seeing chalk outlines on the sidewalk. That was the environment shaping him every single day. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of falling deeper into the chaos, Kendrick became an observer. While most kids his age wanted to flex or join the block, Kendrick studied everything around him. He was fascinated by the way people moved, the way choices played out, and the way pain showed up in silence more than words. That sharp eye for detail would later become the weapon that set him apart in rap. His ability to tell stories so real, they made listeners feel like they lived them too. One of the defining moments in his childhood was watching Tupac and Dr. Dre shoot the California Love video right in his neighborhood. He was just a little boy sitting on his dad's shoulders, but that image burned into his memory forever.
Tupac was shooting a video in my neighborhood in Compton. I was around 8 years old. My father seen him, went 2 blocks down, got me, put me on his shoulders, and there he was, Tupac right there. A good friend of mine said, you was one of them kids looking at Pac when he was up here doing that. Now they looking at you, and it blew me away.
Years all eyes on me, and I'ma send it up to Pac.
I let them know it's on for life. Don't let the West Side ride the night.
Rabbit hole is still deep. I can go further, I promise. Ain't there some B-rest that's for and you Malibu most wanted.
To him, Pac wasn't just a star. He was proof that someone who came from the same streets could use words to move the world. From that moment, Kendrick knew he wanted to rap, but he didn't want to be just another rapper. He wanted to be a voice that mattered. Growing up, Kendrick wasn't the loudest in the room. In fact, he was often the quiet one. But behind closed doors, he was filling notebooks with verses, sharpening his skills, and building the confidence to one day step into the booth. He didn't have chains or money, but he had vision. And little did the world know that same quiet kid would grow into the lyrical assassin that rappers today are terrified to cross. This right here is why rappers are flat out scared of Kendrick Lamar. There are so many reasons why he's built this reputation as one of the MCs you just don't test. But one of the biggest is the level of respect he's earned across the entire culture. It's not just fans hyping him up. The cosigns came from the top dogs of the West. Dr. Dre brought him in, Snoop Dogg publicly passed him the torch, and The Game, Corrupt, and every other OG out west have all stamped him as the future. That's not something you can fake. That's real recognition from legends who don't just hand out praise.
I'ma say this and I'ma mean this. Nigga, you got the torch, nigga, you better rock it.
And it's not only the West Coast showing love. Even Eminem himself admitted that Kendrick's pen might be untouchable.
The thing with M was crazy to me, he kicks everybody out the studio. I took it as him kicking everybody out to see if that's really you writing them raps that you're writing.
Think about that. Eminem, a guy who shredded rappers his whole career and who openly hates ghostwriters, realized pretty quick why people were calling Kendrick special. Ed Sheeran even recalled how M tested Kendrick during their Love Game collab on Marshall Mathers' LP 2, and after watching K. write, M knew this man was the real deal. For once, Slim Shady admitted he'd think twice before trying to battle him.
It's the same thing if I getting on a track with Kendrick. I can never tell what the fuck he's gonna do.
Right.
Because he is such a chameleon of styles and he can fucking do pretty much anything, right? And he's so proficient at it, he's so good at it, and you don't know what you're gonna get. That to me is like a top tier lyricist, because it's like you can get your ass kicked any day.
And that speaks volumes. The wild part? Kendrick never even had to go back and forth in huge public beefs the way Eminem did. Instead, he proved himself by simply stepping on features and outshining whoever stood next to him. Even after becoming a mainstream superstar, Kendrick would remind people he could dismantle any rapper at will. His entire Section .80 campaign was basically one giant warning: I'll kill your favorite rapper. And fans believed him because the bars backed it up. Then he doubled down on Damn with Element, and where he told rappers straight up that if they say his name, they're gonna see Candyman. That wasn't just a punchline, that was a promise. And just when people thought he couldn't raise the bar any higher, Kendrick became the first rapper to ever win a Pulitzer Prize. That alone put him on a whole other level. By the time he dropped Rich Spirit, telling his peers to stop playing with him before he turns you into a song, it was crystal clear. Kendrick isn't just rapping, he's issuing threats that everyone knows he can back up. Now, after completely dismantling Aubrey and forcing J. Cole to wave that white flag, we can all see those warnings from Kendrick weren't just empty talk. These past few weeks have been brutal for the so-called Big Three. Their legacies are limping while Kendrick is standing tall, carving his name into hip-hop history like never before. At this point, it's hard to imagine any rapper willingly stepping up to Dot, because the last few who tried got burned in ways they'll never live down. But here's the thing. Kendrick's dominance didn't just start with Drake and Cole. Way before his declaration of forget the Big Three, it's just Big Me, rappers were already hesitant to go at him. The rare few who did let their egos talk usually ended up backpedaling, paying homage once they realized just how dangerous he was. And one of the best examples of this tension comes from none other than Big Sean. In fact, Big Sean is a big reason why Kendrick even started applying pressure in the first place. Everyone remembers that infamous Control verse, the one where Kendrick hijacked Sean's own track and turned it into a moment that shook the entire rap game. He named names, called out peers, and basically told the whole industry, I love y'all, but I'm coming to kill you and snatch your fans. That wasn't just rap bravado. It was a declaration of war. The aftermath? Sean tried to play it cool, claiming he didn't get bodied on his own record, but actions speak louder than words.
Put that work in. Like, you're not gonna disrespect me. I hop on any track with anybody, and I will not only stand my own, you're gonna know that it's my verse, and you're gonna know I'm
what I like.
Except for Control. Kendrick watched you on Control.
No, stop it.
Sean, come on now. Come on.
And how long ago was that? What year is this?
That were you right? You got you right. Everybody improved. You're right.
And I still don't feel like I got washed anyway.
Nah, you got washed on Control.
Whatever. Your opinion. See, that's what I'm saying. You can't focus on people's opinions. You know why? Because that's gonna throw you off.
And the fact that he left Control off his Hall of Fame album says it all. That verse became bigger than the project itself, and Sean never truly escaped its shadow. And while Sean never flat out accepted there was real beef, he did try throwing slick subliminals at Kendrick. On songs like Me, Myself, and I, and No More Interviews, fans quickly noticed the Detroit rapper taking little jabs at Dot's style. But Kendrick, he didn't even flinch. He stayed silent, letting the chatter build, because he knew the moment he decided to respond, it would be deadly. Then came The Heart Part 4. And that's when Kendrick finally pulled back the curtain. Without naming names, he made it crystal clear he'd heard the whispers, he'd caught the shade, and if Big Sean kept poking, he was going to get exactly what he claimed he wanted: a battle with a monster he couldn't possibly handle. Big Sean might not have ever gotten a full-blown diss track aimed straight at him, but make no mistake, Kendrick made it clear he could come for his neck anytime he felt like it. That lingering threat alone left Sean walking carefully, and it showed. The Control fiasco left such a mark on his career that you can practically split it into two eras, before that verse dropped and everything that came after, and here's the kicker. Today, Big Sean speaks on Kendrick with nothing but admiration, almost pretending like the tension never even existed. Why? Because he knows stepping into that fire wasn't worth it.
The whole Big Sean Kendrick beef was going on. It was something I wish I would have spoke up about because there was nothing. So then I remember going online and seeing like, oh, is he talking about Kendrick? Because I'm talking about people who rap fast. I wasn't beefing with nobody.
But admiration doesn't erase the truth. Sean himself has admitted that the shadow of that verse followed him for years.
Every verse I do, people be like, oh, is this a response? Is this a response? And I'm like, it's like, damn, I can't even show no aggression. People think it's a damn response. It got to a point where somehow it was just a weird tension between me and him, even though it was already said it wasn't no beef because people made it that way, right?
And honestly, he wasn't the only one caught in the crossfire. There was another name on that track, someone people once whispered about as one of the greatest lyricists alive, Electronica. And even he couldn't escape without scars. See, the culture started saying Kendrick washed both of them on their own track. Elect didn't take that lightly. He snapped back in interviews, hinting that Kendrick was actually envious of him.
Kendrick will body you. Look, you couldn't pay Kendrick $1 million. Kendrick wouldn't tell you. Kendrick would tell you himself he couldn't body me. Kendrick, look, Kendrick is my son. Kendrick is my baby. Kendrick wishes that he could be me.
Then he doubled down with his verse on the curse of Mayweather, spitting lines like, he got 11 Grammy nominations. Y'all made him equal, man. Forget these white people. He was clearly bitter, pointing at the Grammys Kendrick had stacked at the time. He followed with, my grandmother died at 82 scrubbing floors, and rappers still running around begging for awards. Those bars dripped with resentment, like Elect was daring Kendrick to answer back. It looked like Electronica was practically begging for a problem, throwing shade, dismissing Dot's accolades, and trying to downplay his success. But then, almost out of nowhere, the tune changed. Suddenly, Jay was giving Kendrick his flowers, showing respect and brushing the past off like it never happened. He even called back to their TDE bond, saying, regardless to whom or what, we're brothers fighting the same energy. Forgive my past energy. So, what happened? Nobody really knows what flipped that switch. Maybe Jay realized the war wasn't worth fighting. Maybe he saw how Kendrick destroyed anyone who challenged him. Or maybe it was just mutual respect finally taking over. Either way, the message was clear. Even rappers with sky-high reputations learned fast that going at Kendrick comes with consequences they don't want. Electronica wasn't the only one who folded when it came time to stand on business with Kendrick. Plenty of rappers did the exact same thing, and that's really the wild part. The Control verse didn't just shake up the game, it set the stage for everything that would come later, including the Drake situation. It showed the world how rappers would tiptoe around K-Dot, scared to go too far because they knew the smoke might come back 10 times harder. When Control dropped, the responses came flying in. But if you listen closely, almost all of them were delivered with caution. Take Joel Ortiz from Slaughterhouse, for example. He was mad that Kendrick didn't mention his crew, so he came back with a track called Out of Control, where he spit some heavy bars at Dot.
Listening, you the king of New York. Little homie, you ain't the king of New York. You the next thing on my floor.
Sounds tough, right? But then he backtracked in a Vibe interview, saying he was actually saluting Kendrick more than dissing him. That's not beef, that's damage control. And then there was Joe Budden, who was never shy about saying what's on his mind. He hyped up a response track on livestream, had people waiting for him to go in. But when it came time to drop, he pulled the plug. He didn't release it at all. The same thing happened with Pap, who came out swinging but never kept the energy up. Through all of this, Kendrick stayed calm, unfazed, like he was watching kids throw pebbles at a giant. That type of silence is scarier than any diss because it made everyone realize he wasn't even pressed. And that made rappers think twice about testing him.
How you feeling about all the comebacks lately from your Control verse?
You gotta try harder.
And when rappers did try, it usually ended up messy for them. Just look at French Montana. He threw shade at Kendrick multiple times, first claiming the industry was pushing Dot too much.
You think Kendrick sells more than like street rappers?
Cause they position him like how they did in the Grammys as the new music. Well, I don't feel like that's, it's not that it's not the right thing to do, but I just feel like they You see, it was like the whole thing was like Kendrick not.
Then saying he had more hits than him. French even doubled down, saying, if we just talking about anthems, me versus Kendrick, hit for hit, I believe I can go neck to neck. I've been making hits for a long time. I love Kendrick, but that's for anybody they put in front of me. But instead of shaking Kendrick's reputation, French just got roasted. Fans clowned him all over the internet, calling his claims delusional. And it wasn't just fans either. Other rappers even joined in on the jokes, mocking the idea that French could really match up with Kendrick's catalog.
Stupid ass nigga say he got more hits than Kendrick Lamar. Fool. The man say he got more hits than me and Kendrick. Bro, your junk ass ain't got more hits than no motherfucking Kendrick, and you ain't damn sure ain't got more hits or anthems than me. You smoke hard, boy, you tripping. You on real dope.
The backlash was so bad it basically turned into a meme, and French had no choice but to soften his stance. Once again, it proved the point. Throwing shade at Kendrick almost always backfires. French Montana might have puffed his chest out for a minute, even trading shots with Young Thug. But notice how he never kept that same energy with Kendrick. After realizing what lane he was swerving into, French backpedaled hard, admitting he was just in his feelings and calling himself wrong for ever speaking out. That's rare humility for a rapper who usually prides himself on bravado. And now, like so many others, French shows nothing but love to Kendrick and even extends that respect to his whole TDE crew. But French isn't alone in walking that road of regret. Look at J. Cole. He's been dragged all over the internet for performing that 7-minute diss at Dreamville Fest, only to confess it didn't sit right with his spirit. Then he deleted it from streaming altogether, basically waving the white flag. But here's the thing. Cole isn't the first to issue an apology to Kendrick, and the pattern suggests that maybe it isn't just lyrical fear keeping rappers in check, because here's where it gets deeper. Going at Kendrick doesn't just mean going at him. You're also going toe-to-toe with his whole squad. And his squad, they don't play. Kendrick might have branded himself as the good kid in a mad city, but that mad city still raised him. Growing up in Compton, he was surrounded by the gang life from a young age. A lot of his closest friends were active members, and those influences never really left. Then when he linked up with Top Dog Entertainment, the environment got even heavier. Suddenly, he was right in the middle of Bounty Hunter Bloods, Hoover Crips, and a family of artists like Schoolboy Q and J-Rock who were repping their sets unapologetically. This isn't just rap beef, it's tied to real-life energy that outsiders might not fully grasp. And recently, those ties are being whispered about again. According to rumors floating around, J. Cole might have been advised to let go of his issues with Kendrick before things escalated. Word is, someone close to TDE gave him a warning, and one name keeps popping up: Schoolboy Q. Reports from Dreamville Fest suggest that Q himself allegedly pulled Cole aside and told him straight up, stop the beef before it gets out of hand. Now, whether that's 100% true or not, it fits a bigger picture. Battling Kendrick isn't just about matching bars. It means stepping into a storm backed by a city, a label, and a legacy that rappers are realizing is way bigger than any one verse. I'm not here to break down exactly what kind of warning J. Cole might have gotten, whether it was a strong arm move, a quiet Debo-style stare down, or just a respectful heads up. The details don't even matter. What matters is this. Based on what punch TDE's president hinted at, Cole clearly got the message he needed to bow out gracefully before things spiraled. Maybe they told him about the nuclear-level bars Kendrick had ready for Drake, including those ugly allegations, or maybe it was just a word of advice to chill before things crossed a dangerous line. Either way, Cole tapped out, and that says plenty. This whole episode proves something the culture has been whispering for years. When Kendrick moves, the streets he grew up in move with him. His Compton ties run deep. For a long time, rumors have swirled about Kendrick's connections to the West Side Pirates, aligning him with the red side of the city. But that's not the full picture. Kendrick's own uncles were Crips, some serving heavy prison sentences for armed robberies and gang-related charges, and to this day, he's still connected to them.
Does the crew come out every time you come to Compton?
Yeah.
People in Compton will tell you, when Kendrick comes home, his crew shows up right alongside him. That presence alone is enough to make outsiders think twice. So when Drake recently claimed on Family Matters that Kendrick wasn't affiliated with a set, people from Compton laughed it off. They knew better. They ridiculed the statement, while at the same time respecting Kendrick's decision not to publicly embrace gang identity as part of his brand. He's never waved it in people's faces, but that doesn't mean it isn't real.
Drake says you don't bang a set, and he says the game bangs a set, even Chris Brown bangs a set.
He just don't know Kendrick.
That's what I'm saying. Has Kendrick renounced his hood affiliation at a certain point?
Kendrick just don't be private and so priding himself off of his gang culture. So I guess people think that he a non-affiliate. I don't know if we posted, but hey.
But obviously, the fact is Kendrick severely downplays gang affiliate.
And the proof has always been in the music. Go back to Section 80 on Poe Man's Dreams. Kendrick has that line where he basically admits he can speak boldly because he knows his city has his back. That's not just a clever lyric. It's real life confidence rooted in knowing he's got support behind him. And fast forward to now, when you see those viral videos of Not Like Us shaking the club to its core, that same energy is right there. Kendrick isn't just one man, he's a movement powered by California itself. Even Snoop Dogg in an old interview broke down more details about Kendrick's neighborhood ties.
Just that he's a nice guy, so they have a problem with it because he doesn't have a gangster approach. But let me let y'all know, he got 100,000 motherfucking gangsters with him. So y'all better watch what y'all say. You understand what I'm saying? Keep it hip-hop, because that's what he did. He kept it all hip-hop.
And here's the kicker. Kendrick has never officially labeled himself a gangbanger. He doesn't have to. The respect is already built in and everyone knows it. That quiet strength, that connection to both the music and the streets is exactly why stepping to him feels like a risk nobody wants to take. What we do know is that there were moments in Kendrick's life where he definitely moved like somebody tied into the streets. One story that always comes up is when Kendrick tried to press AD from the No Jumper podcast and back on Fig, just because he thought AD was repping a rival neighborhood. That alone shows you the mindset. And if you look at his music videos over the years, the presence of real gang members isn't subtle. Even folks like DJ Mustard have made it clear. When it comes to standing with their Cali comrade, they'll drop any other allegiance and ride with Kendrick. That's how deep his West Coast crown runs. And honestly, all the speculation about whether or not Kendrick was untouchable is over now. The Drake battle ended that conversation for good. Sure, OVO diehards and media voices like academics will keep defending Aubrey, but the facts don't lie. Kendrick washed Drake, not only in the music, but in impact. Think about it. He broke Drake's own record for the most streams of a rap track in a single day with a song where he flat out called him a predator. That's not just a win, that's straight up diabolical. Fans are finally realizing what insiders already knew. Kendrick Lamar isn't someone you test. The proof is everywhere, even in the random moments. Remember that video of him casually doing burpees in a parking lot, blasting oldies in the background? People called him a psychopath in the comments, because something about it felt unhinged, like he was training for war while the rest of the industry was relaxing. That's the energy he carries. Unpredictable, disciplined, and a little terrifying. And the truth is, what's happening to Drake explains why so few rappers ever risked it before. People throw shots at Drake all the time, but most of those disses never stick with the general public. But Kendrick, that's a whole different beast. He's got the rare combo of being one of the most skilled rappers alive and having the mainstream platform to drag you in front of millions. When he disses you, it doesn't stay underground. It turns into headlines, memes, and history. That's what rappers fear most, not just losing, but being embarrassed on a global scale. Kendrick has the ability to take your career moment, flip it into a classic diss, and immortalize you in the worst way possible. And if anyone doubted whether that was real, this Drake situation just made it undeniable. Kendrick Lamar isn't just feared, he's legendary for the way he dismantles opponents. Just look at how the tone around Drake flipped after Not Like Us dropped. Even regular people like a school teacher who went viral online pointed out how the energy in the culture shifted overnight. Suddenly, fans weren't just debating bars anymore, they were moving to Kendrick's side in real time, almost like the rap game had chosen its king right before our eyes. And here's where it gets even crazier. Kendrick didn't just take Drake's pride, he hit him in the pockets too. According to Billboard, between May 3rd and May 6th, Kendrick's catalog racked up about 50 million streams, which was a 49% jump compared to the previous Friday to Monday period. Meanwhile, Drake's overall catalog fell off. Once you strip away his 2 diss tracks, Push-Ups, and Family Matters, the numbers don't lie. Aubrey was losing ground while Kendrick was skyrocketing. Now let's be clear, Drake's catalog as a whole is massive, and Kendrick probably won't pass him in lifetime streams anytime soon. But the point is undeniable. Kendrick proved he's not only lyrically sharper, but strategically versatile enough to shake the charts at will. And that versatility? That's the same thing Eminem once warned about. The reason so many rappers hesitate to even test Kendrick, because his skill set is just too dangerous. From his razor-sharp pen to his undeniable ties in the streets, Kendrick has plenty of reasons to be feared.
Go through all these records, from Like That to Euphoria to 616 in LA to Meet the Grams to Not Like Us. None of those records sound the same at all. It's the widest range I've ever seen in the amount of time in any diss battle ever. When it comes to the rapping and the music, fuck all like the timeline or what's true and what's not true, who's rapping and who is putting out the better records. Kendrick Lamar checked every fucking box sonically that you could think of.
But if you really break it down, the scariest part of all isn't the rumors, the features, or even the cosigns, it's his mentality. Kendrick takes his craft dead serious, like it's life or death. That mindset is rare in a genre where plenty of rappers lose their hunger once the fame and money roll in.
You are the greatest rapper alive.
I got to. I didn't, come on. I'm so passionate about hip hop, man. Like, I don't know what era everybody else come from, but when I listened, man, like, we played house parties, bro, every night. Like, I love it to a point I can't even describe it, you know? And when I heard these artists say they're the best coming up, I said, I'm not doing it to have a good song or one good rap or a good hook or a good bridge. I want to keep doing it every time, period. And to do it every time, you have to challenge yourself and you have to confirm to yourself, not anybody else, confirm to yourself that you're the best. Period.
Drake, for example, has been accused of taking from the culture without giving much back, and that's exactly why Kendrick felt no shame in holding him accountable. Kendrick has always kept his sword sharp, refusing to dull out or get comfortable. From the days of Overly Dedicated to winning a Pulitzer, he's carried himself with the same determination, the same fire to prove himself again and again. And the key detail, he doesn't go out of his way to start problems. He never bothers anyone unless he feels provoked. And when that provocation comes, he doesn't just respond, he dismantles. That's why Kendrick Lamar isn't just feared. He's respected as one of the most dangerous rappers to ever touch a mic. To explain why Kendrick Lamar is one of the most feared rappers of any era, we've got to borrow a phrase that goes all the way back to Roman times. If you want peace, prepare for war. And that's exactly the way Kendrick moves. He doesn't start chaos for no reason, but he stays ready, sharpened pen, sharp mind, and a whole city standing behind him. After tearing Drake apart so decisively, he may have just secured himself that rare peace rappers dream about, at least until somebody foolish enough tries to test him again. Because here's the truth, Kendrick has shown the world that he's more than just another superstar. He's a strategist, a storyteller, and a gladiator in the rap arena. He's not just winning battles, he's rewriting history in real time, forcing everyone else to step carefully while he moves like the final boss of the game. And if the Drake saga taught us anything, it's that going at Kendrick Lamar doesn't just risk losing a battle, it risks losing your pride, your reputation, and even your legacy. So tell me what you think. Has Kendrick officially secured his spot as the most dangerous MC of this generation? Or do you think someone out there is bold enough to challenge him again? Drop your thoughts down below. I want to see who you think could even stand a chance. And don't forget, hit that like button, share this video with your people, and subscribe to the channel for more of this drama and breakdowns. I'll see you in the next one. And trust me, you don't want to miss the next video that's about to pop up on your screen right now, packed with even more wild celebrity and hip-hop controversy.